Here are 19 things you need to know before moving to the East Bay. My name is Mac Rogers. I'm a real estate broker here in the East Bay. Welcome to the channel. Before I dive into the video, if you're thinking of buying or selling here in the East Bay, give us a call, a text, or an email. We get calls daily from people moving in and out of the East Bay, and we absolutely love helping them out. In this video, I'm going to talk about the whole East Bay. No specific city, but the East Bay in general through my eyes and my own experience. On subsequent videos, I will do a more in-depth video of specific cities in the East Bay. If you're interested in a specific city, comment below and I'll put it on my list. First thing you need to know before moving here are toll bridges. We have 8 bridges in total according to 511.org. The ones that are attached to the East Bay are the following: the Bay Bridge, which connects San Francisco and Oakland, San Mateo Hayward Bridge, which connects you to the peninsula, and then the Dumbarton Bridge, which connects you to the southern part of the peninsula or Silicon Valley. There are several other bridges to get out of the East Bay, but my point here is that you have to pay a toll to cross the bridges. And it's not cheap. It's $7. Now, if you're in the carpool lane, you're carpooling with someone, you do get a break. Years ago, it was actually free if you were in the carpool lane. Now, it's just discounted. Last time I checked, it was $3.50. And speaking of tolls, here's another thing that you need to know. In the last several years, toll roads started showing up all over the place. And I mean all over. And during peak hours, if you want to use one of these toll roads, it's expensive. One time I was on 680 headed to Walnut Creek and I was going to jump on the toll roads and I was shocked at the price. It was $15. $15 to go 5 to 7 miles. Let me continue on with transportation. Traffic is horrendous during rush hours. Now, depending on where you live in the East Bay, peak rush hour in the morning could be as early as 6 a.m. all the way to 10:30 a.m. In the afternoon, it's about 3 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And mind you, not all offices are back to normal yet. And on Fridays,
forget about it. Forget about it. Oh, forget about it.
Forget about it. It seems like everybody wants to go home early on Fridays. I've been stuck in traffic as early as 12:30 on Fridays. Here are some choke points in terms of traffic. The whole 880 corridor. It doesn't matter if you're going north or south. 680 in the morning going south and going north in the afternoon. The 24 tunnel, the Bay Bridge is just terrible. In fact, it's terrible any time of the day if you ask me. I saw online someone describe the area before the Bay Bridge, the MacArthur Maze, as a disaster during commute hours. I disagree. It's a disaster 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Staying on transportation a little bit more. Next is freeways and local roads or street. They're so freaking dirty. There's so much trash everywhere, it's embarrassing. Quite frankly, I do not understand how the people or the departments in charge can get away with this. Don't they drive the same streets? Freeway on-ramps, driving up and down the freeway, rural roads, it's just everywhere. Next thing you need to know, and the last thing about transportation, is that we have crappy public transportation. Yes, there is BART, but besides that, good luck riding the bus. If you were to take the bus anywhere, it would take you 3 to 4 times longer as you would be driving. It's not convenient at all. You're better off getting an Uber or a Lyft. More expensive, but at least you get to your destination faster. Next thing you need to know is weather. Weather in the East Bay is better or warmer than in San Francisco or the peninsula, but it could be extreme. The East Bay is so big, so you might be traveling from, say, Hayward, and then you're wearing a jacket, and you go over to Livermore, and you need sunscreen. In fact, where I live, here in Castro Valley, whenever I ride my bike towards Dublin or Pleasanton, by the time I get there, the temperature is about 10 degrees warmer. And that's only like 5 miles away. So I say, always bring a jacket. The next two I'll lump together. It's the Burbs and it's crowded. It's kind of like you're in limbo when you're here. Yes, it's the Burbs. There's a lot of Burbish characters to it, but boy, is it crowded here. You know the traffic that you have to fight through during the weekdays. You have to contend with that during the weekend. Going shopping, going eating, going to the park. Schools, I have one client that they could not get their daughter into several public schools because it's full. So they thought maybe just send her to a private school. Well, guess what? 3 private schools turned them down because they were full as well. Going to the park, it's nice to be outside, right? Get some fresh air, some space, forget about it. Before you can get to the trails and smell that fresh air, you need to find parking. And if you're late, you might find parking a mile away. Once inside the park, Everyone seems to be there. Next is culture or lack of it. I mean, it's the suburbs, so it's not like there's some ballet, opera, or any museums that are worth visiting. I guess being close enough to San Jose, San Francisco, Oakland, you can get some culture that way. What you're left with is mostly high school plays and maybe other little local theaters here and there. Don't expect any Tony Award winning or Oscar performance. Next, let's talk about crime. I think crime is rampant right now in the East Bay. Car break-in, catalytic theft, package theft, shoplifting, muggings, which are pretty freaking scary. It kind of happens too often now. The other day, I saw on one of my Facebook groups, a guy was mugged while riding his mountain bike by 3 guys in broad daylight in a nice part of town, or at least I used to consider a nice part of town. The place where this guy got mugged is an area that I used to ride my bike a lot myself. Well, not anymore. If you're lucky enough not to get mugged, if you go to the park, be very careful where you park your car. Sometimes even if there's nothing to steal, they would just break your windows for the heck of it. I had that happen to me once. One early morning, I went for a mountain bike ride. I parked where there were a lot of traffic going by. By the time I got back to my car, broken glass everywhere. I thought it was a safe place because it was early enough on a weekday morning and I parked on a busy street. And honestly, I thought the thieves might be still sleeping during that time, but I guess not. Someone was working early that day. If you have an older Prius, make sure you have one of those catalytic converter shields because these guys target those cars a lot. And it doesn't take them long. One time, I saw a security footage from a restaurant in broad daylight. 2 guys jacked up the Prius and in less than 2 minutes, they were gone. Don't even consider parking your Prius on the street. Next is diversity. I think it's extremely diverse here. And the problem is that instead of assimilation, it becomes tribes here and there. People stay with their kind. I mean, I get it, but that's what drives us apart even more. And here's my biggest pet peeve. You know, I was born and raised in the Philippines and I speak Filipino. What I don't do is I speak Filipino to someone when I'm in a crowded place. Look, I'm not saying you can't do that. It's a free country. This is why you and I are both here. But have a little bit of decency and courtesy to the people around you. And yes, I know there might be some immigrants that have a hard time speaking English. I'm not talking about those people. But hey, you are here. Try learning the language. Look, it's not like I call anyone out for speaking their native tongue at a Starbucks line. It's your right to speak whatever or however you want. All I'm saying is let's be mindful and respectful of other people. The next thing you might want to know is that it's ultra liberal around here. I mean, what I just said earlier, someone will not only find that offensive, but also say that I'm anti-immigrant or whatever. There's a lot of cancel culture around here and people can't express their views anymore, especially if your views run counter to the majority. Just because you point out something that's true or it might be your opinion doesn't mean you're anti-whatever. So just make sure you don't get sucked into any of these topics, especially on online forums like nextdoor.com or Facebook, because as soon as you express your opinion and it runs counter to the majority, well, good luck. And by the way, there's also a flip side to this, the ultra-conservative side. The next thing that you need to know is that it seems like everybody's so busy around here or seems rushed. We are in the suburbs and it's not your typical slow-paced, laid-back, stereotypical suburb. I mean, again, driving down the freeway or on local roads, everyone is just zipping by. Getting coffee, most of the time people don't even give you the courtesy of a smile because all they can think about is, I need my coffee, I need to go to the next place. In restaurants, when they think you are done, they give you the check and they tell you, no rush, whenever you're ready. But they freaking clean the table and they keep coming back and asking if you need anything else or can they get you anything. In other words, they're rushing you out. And this also translates to the business side of things like customer service. Customer service in a lot of places sucks. They make you feel like you are a burden to a lot of them. And sometimes it rubs off on you because when you are treated like crap, your whole demeanor changes. You know, one of the things that I do when I encounter workers like this is that I become obnoxiously nice, which is much better than I was before. Before, I would match their rudeness. Now, I find it more effective to give them a nice, big, annoying smile like this. Hi, how are you? You know, kill them with kindness, so to speak. And you know what? It works. I may not be able to completely turn them around, but just the whole way they deal with me becomes better. So if you're from the South or somewhere else that hospitality is a big part of your culture, know this, it's not over here. I think I'm down to my last three. Let's talk about sales tax. Sales tax is amazingly high over here. Alameda County and Contra Costa County have 10.75 sales tax. Those are the two highest in the state. For context, San Francisco sales tax is only 8.63%. Marin County, the third richest county in the US, not the state, the US, has a sales tax of 9.75%. San Mateo, the fourth richest county in the US, has a sales tax of 9.875%. So if you were to buy a $200,000 used Ferrari, the sales tax on that would be around $21,500. The next one, and one that pretty much everyone knows, but outsiders or non-locals still get shocked, is housing is super expensive here. I can't begin to tell you how many times I would meet new clients from outside the state. Heck, even people moving from, say, Orange County, which is not cheap by any standard. Their jaws would drop at how much home prices are here and how much competition there is. I recently sold a $2 million home last month and we had 14 offers. 5 of them were cash. The rest of the offers had loans or financing. But you know how much down payment they have? They had like $500,000 and above. Those people did not get the house. Think about that for a moment. You have, say, $750,000 in down payment and you are not even competitive. And it's not only at that price range, even at the lower end of the spectrum, everyone encounters competition like this. By the way, it's not like the $2 million property is a mansion, okay? It's a tract housing built in the late 60s. Then the buyer put another $200,000 to remodel it. And finally, last thing you might want to know before moving here is that it's deteriorating. Housing, every place you go in the East Bay, it has become progressively more expensive. Places that buyers would never consider before are going for $800,000 to $1 million on a regular basis. Traffic continues to get worse and we're still in the work from home environment. The freeways continue to be like a dumping ground. Potholes everywhere also. Public transportation is not improving. BART, the one shining light of public transportation, sometimes could also be dangerous. People's phones and laptops being grabbed. Hey look, I'm not trying to put down the East Bay. I love the East Bay. I live here, I work here, I play here. Unfortunately, these things are real and they exist and they are a fact of living here. I don't want to end this video on a negative note. So let me just give you some of the reasons that I do like living here. For all the things that I said about how expensive housing is here in the East Bay, it is much cheaper than San Francisco and the Peninsula and Santa Clara County. Well, you know what? Strike that. It's not cheaper. Less expensive is more like it. Next is the outdoors. While it is crowded, if you know where to go, you can luck out and get some or a lot of space away from the crowd. The only thing really with this is that I'm always thinking that by the time I get back to my car, will I see broken glass everywhere? Next is access to airports. There are 3 international airports that's less than an hour from the East Bay with no traffic. Oakland is the closest one. Outside of the East Bay, you can go to Yosemite in 3 hours or so, to Tahoe for about the same time, and Napa Valley in an hour. Actually, you don't even have to go to Napa Valley if you like wines. The Livermore Valley is a wine destination that's just right here in the East Bay. I'm going to go on the record here. I love the East Bay. There are certainly a lot of things that are wrong with it, but also a lot of things that are good. I believe that we all have to take responsibility if we want to see the changes that we want, basically. So thank you for watching. If you're thinking of buying or selling here in the East Bay, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to assist you. Also, we'd love it if you click the like button. It really helps out our channel. Have a great day.